Back at the Delta Center, here's a look at tonight's Gatorade starting lineups introduced moments ago. And the officials working this Game 5. Hugh Evans, Hugh Hollins, and Don Baden. Only 5 teams have rallied back from a 2-0 deficit in a best-of-5 to win a first-round matchup. The last time, Denver knocking off the Sonics back in '94.
Well, Paul Westphal is hoping that Barry, Baker, and Lewis can make some points here early, and in that way open up the inside game as well as the perimeter game.
And Baker just does that with 18 points in his last outing, giving the Sonics the lead.
Big thing for Utah. They've got to cut down on the turnovers and get back to shooting at high percentage.
19 turnovers resulting in 22 points, and the Jazz come down with it.
I thought Baker was hit right on the elbow that time on the release.
Stockton with a layup. John Stockton.
He's a little uptight. We realize the importance of this game. We're dealing with millions of dollars for a franchise if you get to the next round.
Payton underneath. Off the glass. So Gary Payton, who had his first career playoff triple-double with impressive numbers, as UB showed you, ties the game.
Anytime that he shoots with Stockton on him, he always has an opportunity to get a second shot attempt off the offensive board.
And the Jazz turn it over as Stockton's pass goes under Hornacek's legs.
They're traps and they're long. They are a very tall team.
And tempo will play a big role in this game, and the up-tempo Sonics against the methodical Jazz. Payton with a turnaround from the baseline, hits his second in a row, and the Sonics take the lead.
All night, Dick. That's there all night. He's taller than Stockton, and when he turns to the baseline, he's going away from the double team.
And the looping pass, and Stockton throws it away for the second time in this first quarter.
Seattle goes to a slashing type of an offense because they do not have the inside presence.
And goaltending, credit Brent Barry with the basket.
Because that ball still, in my opinion, was not on the way down.
Holden Polynice goaltending on the play. Now Polynice on the offensive end gets the basket. Polynice has not scored more than 4 points in the backboard for the Jazz.
Well, that good trap that time sent Stockton baseline. He gave it up early. Shot clock going down.
And there is Brian Russell for 3 from the corner. Brian Russell coming off a career playoff high 26 points in the last game, and the Jazz up by 4.
Brian Russell is usually spotted up in the opposite corner of the side that Utah is working on.
There is Foster driving past Polynice and a block by Malone. Karl Malone got a piece of it, and the crowd on its feet. Jazz leading by 4, and Polynice called for the offensive foul as he charged into Brent Barry. Stockton guarding Payton with the turnaround. And here's Stockton. It's a 2-on-2 situation, but Russell feeding the lane. You turn it over against the Jazz, and they'll get easy baskets, and they've hit pretty well from the field anyway.
Yeah, that's the old guy, the third guy on the break. Brian Russell, beautiful, and then a great selection to make the pass.
Barry is fouled going to the hoop.
Putting it down on the floor, and then evading a small guy who's going to take the charge.
Looked like Foster wanted to just get rid of it because he knew he was charging into the defender. 10 on the shot clock. Malone with a turnaround. Only the second attempt, but first field goal for Karl Malone and Russell. 3-on-3. Isley into the corner. Remember, Utah had a 26-18 lead in game number 4, and the layup. And Vin Baker coming back into the game despite 2 personal fouls. And here is Lewis out to Baker with 10 on the shot clock. Baker double-teamed over Ostertag hits, so Vin Baker now with 4 points.
It's like 2 to 3 feet off.
Lewis driving against Isley, had a big size advantage, gets the offensive rebound and puts it through. 6 foot 10 inches out of Elite, Texas here in the first quarter. Payton trying to find an open space, and here is Vin Baker hitting from outside. So Baker now with 6 points, leading the Sonics, who trailed now by only 2.
Smart move by Paul Westphal.
Stockton hitting the 3. John Stockton comes back. 3-point lead for the Jazz. And Utah playing for the final shot of this first quarter.
They They love to bring the high screen and roll right here.
And setting the screen is Gilliam, and there is Stockton going out to wide open Brian Russell, who hits with 2.7 seconds to go. Gary Payton. Ooh. And that'll do it for the first quarter. And the Utah Jazz, despite the presence of Gary Payton, who scored 4 points, Baker had 6, but Brian Russell has 9. And John Stockton having a brilliant first quarter with 6 assists. And after one, the Jazz lead the Sonics 23-18. Jazz had a lead as high as 8 points in the first quarter. Here is Gilliam, cut by Orlando, and then this is the left-handed hook shot, and the rebound taken down by Barry, and Barry loses it. There was no whistle, and here is Gilliam hitting the jumper, and Barry is perplexed.
Yeah, bad decision by
They can
Barry.
open up their biggest lead of the game here.
Now the Jazz double-team Payton strong that time.
Isley charging to the basket. Didn't go around Gilliam, who's setting the screen, and Isley gives the Jazz a 9-point lead. Of the series thus far. Stolen by Ruben Patterson, and Patterson slams it through. Some carelessness on the part of Howard Isley.
That's the first time they've come down the length of the floor tonight. And you can see Patterson is so quick at that small forward position. He just
Another turnover.
Steal.
They got another turnover, and there is Lewis going strong to the basket, but a block. And it was Gilliam who got the block for the Jazz. But Utah has to be unsettled with 2 straight turnovers in the backcourt. They're up by 5. Here's Ostertag, and Hornacek back in the game with a runner hitting. So despite 7 turnovers by the Jazz, they're up by 7. And here is Lewis. And that's the athleticism that the Sonics bring to the table.
See, you cannot relax when you go for a shot and score. At one end, Patterson gambled on Hornacek. He blew by him. But then, inbound quickly and look up the floor. It's nice to see Seattle trying to pick up the tempo here.
And another turnover. That's 3 in the last minute. And Gary Payton steadies himself. Lewis firing a 3. He's got it.
Yes.
And Rashard Lewis now with 9 points in the game and spearheading a Seattle rally.
Now they're not fronting the post.
Hornacek misses a runner, gets the loose ball in the lane, and tries to score over Lewis and gets the ball back. Hornacek, the right man in the right place. And on the pick and roll, Karl Malone with his 7th point.
Lewis and Patterson have got to understand that Baker cannot get every rebound. Now, we blew smoke on Barry and Payton early that they can rebound, but we've got to see that.
There you see Baker with the lay-in, and Baker now with 8 points.
7 to go here in the second quarter.
And Baker staying in the game right now. Horace Grant has come in, but Baker remains in there. Paget to Gilliam. Looked like Gilliam wasn't ready for that pass, but scores on the jumper.
Gilliam can score. Oh, look at this.
Here is Barry beating Baker, and Baker is fouled. So interesting with an air ball, but Lewis keeps it alive. Payton steps back on the fake and hits the 3. What a great maneuver as he fakes Stockton, step back, and hits his first 3 of the game.
Great offensive rebound by Lewis. The youngster at 20 years of age is doing everything at both ends and running the lanes. Nice to watch.
We're tied at 33, and Karl Malone unties it with his 9th point of the game. You know,
Stretch the defense. He's a 3-point shooter, but he's not looking for the shot.
Barry had it knocked away. Payton is going to fire another 3 and hit. Gary Payton now with 10 points in the game, and the Sonics have taken a 36-35 lead. Seattle coming back to lead by 3. Now it's 2 after Utah dominated early. Stockton coming off the screen by Malone.
That's their bread and butter. The man who's playing the screener, Karl Malone, cannot lay low like that. Stockton will open up every time.
Tied at 38. Here is Payton inside. Changes hands and can't convert.
Well, you got to get back here.
Stockton has Malone on the wing, and off balance, Malone gets the basket. How did he ever do it? Coming right back, Lewis hits the basket, and that's what the Sonics have done all night.
Within 4 to 5 seconds.
Lewis with 11 points leading the Sonics. Karl Malone has 11 to top the Jazz. Posting up against Horace Grant. 9 on the shot clock, and he gets it. So now Malone doing business inside.
Well, you knew that his shot attempts would open up. You knew that he and Stockton basically play within what you give them in that first quarter. Now, every possession, they are going to Malone on the baseline.
And Payton from the perimeter hitting, and this game really taking shape of a fifth and deciding game.
People are stepping up.
Good pass down to Malone, who lays it in. So Karl Malone now 7 of 9 from the field and 15 points, 10 here in the second.
Well, there's nothing you can do about that. Anytime Karl goes down inside, a pinch on his back, he has you at his mercy.
Here is Horace Grant, and another air ball out of bounds. Combined for the last 11 Utah points. So the Graybeards getting it done here with 2.5 minutes remaining in the first half. The Jazz leading the Sonics in game 5 by 2, and Malone now 8 of 10 from the field. He wasn't involved in the play.
He's tapping back right there. You had the cup. You always tap back to the cup.
Payton with a fake on Stockton and hitting. He's done a good job faking Stockton out of the way.
Plenty of time here now.
Here's Stockton. Finds an open space and hits. 10 points for Stockton. You can't give him an opening.
Now, see, anytime that he comes over any kind of a screen, if you're following, you've got to be right on top of him.
Under a minute remaining in the first half. Payton with a whirling dervish move out to Horace Grant. It's not there for Grant on the perimeter thus far.
Days in Chicago and Orlando, that was money in the bank.
Malone swatted away by Grant. Going out of the game now, replaced by Foster in the Sonic lineup. Russell getting it back from Isley, hitting the three, and for Russell, that is his second.
In the NBA, we say it time and time again. On inbounds plays at half court, the most dangerous guy is the guy out of bounds.
Jazz by 6, double on Payton. Foster can't hold on. 5 on the shot clock, and Barry out to Lewis. He's going to try another three. And the hustle for the loose ball in the corner with 5.8 on the clock. Person looking the inside.
They missed the cutter.
Losing the footing and putting it up. Payton getting the basket in heavy traffic. Gary Payton getting the basket as time runs out in heavy traffic. 16 for Payton. And he's got a smile on his face, but I don't know what he's saying.
Well, he's saying he thought he got fouled.
Yeah.
Now just keep an eye on this. See, he goes through here, and he felt that he was tripped. Okay, now as he steps through, he thinks that he is hit by the defender on the left-hand side. So he wanted a three-point attempt here. You're going to see it right here. See, he was stripped right there. Now as he goes up, he thinks Isley gets him right there. All right, and that's what he was complaining about.
Payton playing the entire first half with 16 points and 4 assists. But right now, let's go out to Reggie Theus.
All right, thanks a lot, Dick. Boy, he had a big half, 12 points. Is the emotion, is this game what it's cracked up to be in the fifth here?
It is. There's a lot of intensity on both ends, and all we have to do is keep on coming out doing what we're doing, and we should be all right.
What about the turnovers? You guys see me playing hard, but you really turned the ball over too much.
Yeah, we did, but all we got to do is come out in the second half and don't force too many unforced turnovers that we had.
You're a little bit concerned about the way they shot in the first half. They're only down by 4 or 5 points.
That's all right. They just made some big shots. Rashad Lewis stepped up for them, but second half, we're going to clamp down on them.
All right, man, good help. All right, Dick.
All right, Reggie, and talking about shooting, the Utah Jazz shot 56% from the first half after 2 games in the low 40s and have a 4-point lead, 53-49 at intermission of the deciding game of this series. Each team has had 1 possession here in the third quarter. Here is Hornacek firing from the corner, hitting. He's 2 for 9 at halftime, but starts out with the basket to give the Jazz a 55-49 lead. With the Jazz bringing it up. Stockton with 8 assists in the first half. Lewis at 6'10", staying with Hornacek. 8 on the clock.
Plenty of time.
The trap to Stockton, and Hornacek with a runner.
Gary can talk all he wants.
A lot of poker faces out there.
Oh, Stockton wide open in the corner.
Hornacek for 3. And Hornacek, trying to avoid playing his last game of his career, has scored 7 points 3-for-3 shooting here in the third quarter. Timeout Seattle as the Jazz have opened up their largest lead of the game, 11.
We tell you, this is a dangerous time in this building. This is where they put the spurt on you. Great move.
With a lay-in, and there is Payton ahead of the field, and Gary Payton scores with 3.5 minutes gone by in the third quarter. The Sonics get their first
Get
point
in here and force a couple of turnovers and get out in the open floor.
Remember, Utah has rolled over Seattle in the first 2 games of the series here at the Delta Center with big third quarter flurries. Polynice baseline against Baker. Olden Polynice.
Baker didn't even attempt to play him. I mean, you can't give him a hip and think that's going to get it done. He rolled right underneath, up and in. Don't assume. We realize that Polynice and Osatek have not scored any points in this series, but come on, he's still a professional.
7-point lead, the double on Payton, leaving Barry open for 3. And there is the rebound and a 3-on-3 with Malone driving in. And now the outlet to Lewis.
Now Karl Malone upset. He thought that he got hipped. Right now you got an advantage. Somebody's wide open.
Baker against Polynice on the other side, and Vin Baker works his way in. He's got 11. Foster replaces him, but he is a spot-up shooter as a big man. Baker on the bench with 4 fouls and 11 points, weakening the Sonics. And there is Malone with Grant fronting him. And Malone on the pass from Stockton, the basket and the foul. And John Stockton now with his 12th assist of the game. The lead is 10 for Utah.
Well, we know that Seattle plays in spurts. They did it in the first half. They came out big, knocked in the threes, got out in the open floor.
Here's Foster from the corner with a 3. Greg Foster with a big 3-point basket.
Now, they needed that. And it's good to see because maybe Foster will loosen up and make a contribution, but they still need Grant and Barry to step up here.
Remember, Baker on the bench with 4 personal fouls as Brian Russell connects from the corner. Payton blocked. It was Brian Russell with the block. And Malone comes down with it. Isley in the corner. Open is Russell. Rebound by Malone. Russell drives and he scores.
They're just beating him to the ball.
Presented by Hyundai. 9-point lead for the Jazz. Stockton leaving it open for Malone. He's got it. Malone now with 21.
That was a beautiful read by Stockton. Very quiet this quarter.
And the Jazz can open up their biggest lead. So once again, they're getting it done in the third quarter. Here at home. Malone over Grant. And the biggest lead of the game established by the Jazz with the rebound. You mentioned the poor shooting. Payton is only 1 of 5 here in the third quarter.
Well, you see, they cannot get out on the break, mainly because Utah's shooting such a high percentage.
Patterson, and the basket counts in a foul. So Ruben Patterson, who gave Paul Westphal a big spark off the bench.
Shooting and missing, and they're not getting any second chance points. That's where we said they excelled in games 3 and 4 in Seattle, where they got the extra shot attempts, made them, and continue to keep their lead.
And there is Stockton with the lay-in. And I'll tell you, Olden Polynice is a big reason why the Sonics aren't getting second shots tonight.
Shot. You got to give it to the front line. Utah Jazz guys doing an excellent job. Everybody helping out on the glass.
Nearly a steal. 10 on the shot clock. Patterson driving by Patchett, and he lays it in. Ruben Patterson now with 11.
Yeah, see, he can take him any time that he catches Dick, turns and faces up.
Feeding Polynice going out to Isley with under a minute to go and 12 on the shot clock for the Jazz. Polynice turnaround. Olden Polynice with 8 points. And
right in front of the basket, looking for that pass all the way.
And a 12-point lead as Payton triple team Shammond Williams, and the basket counts in a foul. Isley got Shammond Williams, who
they'll get additional time here, and they'll be ready to go for the entire fourth quarter.
And remember, Baker's been on the bench with 4 fouls through a good part of this third quarter as well. 6 on the shot clock. Isley will fire a 3 and hit a big one. Howard Isley, and that is the 5th three-pointer for the Jazz. Lewis for 3.
Yes!
Comes right back with it.
The young fella, he's on fire from three-point range.
79-70, and the final shot of this third quarter. Rashard Lewis with 18 points and 3 threes, but Karl Malone with 23 points is the leading scorer in the game, and let us not forget John Stockton and 15 assists already. But the Utah Jazz extend their lead, and after 3 quarters, the score is 79-70. Quarter by Gary Payton in a deciding game and hope to move on. 9-point lead for the Jazz, their biggest lead, 13. Payton with Barry, Baker back in, Patterson and Rashard Lewis. Isley doing a good job on Payton. 6 on the shot clock. Ruben Patterson working past Gilliam, and he lays it in.
That was a no-brainer.
The fourth quarter, everything riding here in the fourth as Malone's shot doesn't go.
Now that's 2 fadeaway jump shots. Karl Malone has taken up over Baker, and Baker's gotten a piece of both.
Patterson and Ruben Patterson, again the spark off the bench, has 15.
Utah goes cold. Cannot get a second shot attempt. At this end, something good on every possession for Seattle.
And where would the Sonics be without the shooting from their bench? Payton, and Gary Payton cuts the lead at half to 3 points. Hornacek dribbling by Payton. Oh, scoop shot doesn't roll.
Come on, push. Right now the Jazz are slow in transition. Seattle has got to look for the long pass that they had in that second quarter. Make the pitch out and then look long.
Here is Baker back to Payton for the layup, and it's a 1-point game. So Vin Baker with a nifty pass back to Payton, who now has 23 points, the same number as Karl Malone, and a timeout called by the Jazz, silencing the stunned crowd.
Well, what you have here is called give-and-go basketball. It was initiated when they put up the peach basket.
And you remember those days, too.
I sure do.
Sonics on a 9-1 run. It's a 1-point affair. Payton each with 23 points in this game. Nearly 4 minutes gone by in the fourth. John Stockton hitting, and the lead is 3.
Payton got lost on that shuffle cut.
Vin Baker playing with 4 fouls, and now is Ruben Patterson in the lane. Not that time, but Baker keeping it alive.
That's where you got to make your money.
Grant from outside. Horace Grant, part of 3 world titles with the Chicago Bulls.
Very seldom do you see him go off of the screen and roll to the corner like that.
Hornacek going to Malone, and Karl Malone with his first points here in the fourth quarter. Stockton on Payton. Baker working his way in, and he lays it in against Polynice.
See, he knows that he can post and take Polynice.
And now the Sonics with another opportunity to take the lead. Here's Rashard Lewis, trapped in the corner, and loses the ball.
You know, at this defensive end of the floor, Baker's done an excellent job on Karl Malone in this quarter. He has challenged all 3 shots.
Pass from Malone into Polynice, and it counts in a foul. Here is Baker. And Baker tonight, who has scored 13 points with 4 on the shot clock. No movement yet in the offense. Baker forced to put it up and hits at the buzzer. 15 for Vin Baker. Now the Sonics are over the limit in fouls, so the Jazz will be shooting the penalty the rest of this game. Malone with a fall away, and he's got it. 27 now for Malone. 7 on the shot clock. 5-point lead, and the loose ball. Rashard Lewis loses the ball, and the Jazz get it back. Every turnover, ultra crucial the rest of the way. Here is Polynice, and Polynice now with 13 points gives the Jazz a 7-point lead, and a timeout called by Seattle.
The big thing right now is get back to some continuity here.
Gary Payton driving strong to the basket and gets the hoop.
First time he's been in a position where he could just take Stockton from the middle of the floor to the basket.
Payton hasn't gone to the line, though, in this game like he did the last 2.
But you like the timeout. You like the timeout. Come out of the timeout. Run the play that you want. Seattle right now, just tighten up your defense. Try to hold Utah to 1 shot.
Malone setting a screen for Stockton. Picked up the double team. Malone with a fall away over Rashard Lewis. And bad pass by Barry, who got the rebound into the hands of Stockton.
On Barry's behalf, he was falling out of bounds. and he threw the ball right into the Utah player.
Stockton out to Russell. Ryan Russell into the corner for Hornacek. And the offensive rebound by Malone.
The team that does not offensive rebound often has been offensive rebounding time and time again in this game.
And at the most important time of the game, under 2.5 to play and 8 on the shot clock. Here is Hornacek for 3. And now the Sonics come out, still down by 5.
Now you're in good shape. You got plenty of time here right now.
Lewis, the 20-year-old, guarded by Hornacek, and a big size advantage. Here is Lewis again, and goaltending call. Credit the basket to Rashard Lewis.
That's a great game. Great game, and the people must make plays.
Survival on the line. Malone will fire over Grant, and Hornacek tips it in.
Oh, come on, come on. Come on, you have 3 green shirts right there. And Jeff Hornacek and Stockton on the offensive board.
Hornacek turning 37 years of age on Wednesday with the big tip-in, and now Payton stepped on the line out of bounds.
Force Utah to give you a big-time execution.
6 turnovers by Seattle here in the fourth quarter.
See, Baker continues to lead. Paul needs to help out.
And Malone scrambling for the ball, and it's turned over to the Sonics.
Now push now. You have an advantage.
Sonics need every possession now, down by 5. And we get close to 1 minute remaining. And the foul, Rashard Lewis.
Sloan wanted the foul because he wanted that timeout to regroup him.
It's a 2-possession game right now. Sonics with the ball and 5 seconds on the shot clock. Here's Ben Baker.
Oh,
he hits a 3.
Big shot.
Ben Baker with a 3, and it's a 2-point game.
What a shot by Baker. Excellent penetration by Payton to set it up.
And they change it to a 2, so it is a 3-point Utah lead. Foot was on the line. So now nearly a half a minute to go and 5 on the shot clock. Stockton to Polynice, who's fouled underneath. And it was Payton who commits the foul.
Well, it was a smart foul. For his career, he's a 54% shooter. He struggled all year this year. A lot of pressure on him, but he's having...
That was a struggle.
Yeah, that's okay, but he's having a great night. Without him tonight, they would be down.
Yeah, look at Jerry Sloan's face. His reaction on that miss by Polynice. He is agape, if that is the correct word. And the air ball, so a brick and an air ball. And Holden Polynice gives the Sonics an opportunity down by 3 with 30.8 remaining.
You score quickly and you use clock management. You picked up all over the court, look for a steal, even if the Jazz call timeout. The big thing is clock management here.
Payton driving to the basket, putting it up and getting the hoop. It's a 1-point game. And now with the 25 seconds.
Now you pick up. You pick up. You do not allow anyone to go long on you. You look for the steal. You go for the trap and the steal.
Russell has it. And they got the 10-second thing to think about, and they get it across to Malone, to Ostertag.
You got to foul. You got to foul. So you're going to let them run it out.
And
let them run out the clock here. You can't do that. You got to foul.
Game for him tonight. 15 points, 15 assists, and 7 off the glass. And in crunch time...
1 timeout left.
And the lead is 3, and the Sonics will use their final timeout. Chuck Person has come into the game for Seattle. You saw the 3-point shooters. Barry 0 for 4 tonight. But Payton is 3 for 5. Person is out there with a fake.
Nice.
Person fires for 3 off the rim, and the Jazz are going to win it and move on. That's how close it was for Paul Westphal, who did a terrific job getting his team back into the series. But the series is over, and Utah has won it 96-93.
Dick, you feel for Chuck Person. He's been sitting on that bench for an entire game, and then they put you in with 9 seconds to go, and you are the man to knock in a 3 2 steps beyond the 3-point line. That is an incredible ton of pressure. Now, they were working with Gary Payton end person in. You can see they hit right here. They give it back to Payton. Now watch the screen by Person, hoping that the Jazz would foul up. Now the ball fake. Steps Person underneath. Now look, Chuck is one of the greatest of all time, but that was difficult to do.
So for the Utah Jazz, you know about Stockton, Malone, and Hornacek. They've been around forever, but how about 35-year-old and Polynice and what he contributed tonight with his 13 points in the game and terrific defense and a great job off the boards. Right now, let's send it out to Reggie Theus.
All right, thanks a lot, Dick. Carl, this is what Game 5s are all about. You said that tonight you had to bring your A game and really play big, and you did that.
Well, I thought maybe I had to play a big game because I know the excitement was going to be surrounded, but you just try to keep an even keel and don't try to get too excited. I think the other guys did a great job. I think all the Polynice down the stretch was huge for us, so I think those guys in that locker room did a great job, and I kind of just mixed in and did some other things. It was a hard-fought victory. We realized that. Man, it get even tougher.
Other than the two boulders Polynice threw up there from the free throw line, he played great. He's 2 points for the series, but tonight 14 points.
Well, I think Olin did a lot of good things for us tonight. It's amazing how guys don't have too good of a game and then they step up in this kind of game. But now we're going to need all our big guys to step up in this series because Portland's going to be a war, but it should be one we're looking forward to.
I got to say, this crowd is incredible. Very difficult. I have my volume almost all the way up on my IFB. Tough place to play basketball.
Well, we just said we had to give them something to cheer for. So hopefully we can really settle down and start concentrating on playing some good, solid Jazz basketball. So it's going to be tough, but it's what the playoffs are all about.
And you said you weren't going to have any assists tonight. You have 3.
What's wrong with me?
Good luck in the second half.
Thank you very much.
All right, take it.
Well, last year, the Jazz lost to the Trailblazers in 6 games in the Western Conference semifinals, and they get another shot at them starting on Sunday. And so, Malone with 27 leads the Jazz. Payton had 27 for the Sonics. Last night, a 1-point game in Indianapolis. Tonight, a 3-point game here. What lies ahead in L.A., we'll find out shortly. Once again, the final score, the Utah Jazz 96, the Seattle Sonics 93, and they move on.